All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Am I going to be able to get there from here? I think so. You know, we could turn a camera. How about that? That would be a radical concept. Actually make the technology work for you, not against you. Nope. Let's go that way. That's good. That's good. That's good. Hello, Martin. Welcome, Sky. Yes. You wondered where I went. Well, I went. I've come and gone. No, I've gone and I've come back. I got a new knee, which is propped up over here, so that I can be here in the studio. Not back full time, but a couple hours a day just to kind of ease into it. That's why you weren't seeing any videos from me. But the video idea wheel has just been churning. So look out, look out. And yeah, we're back to being idiots. That's right. KMR definitely back to being idiots. Let's see, where are we time-wise? Good, we got a few minutes. Yeah, it's been an interesting experience. I don't want to talk about it on the show, but Martin, thank you for your encouraging email. This was far less intense than I expected. I was really kind of geared up for a big deal. Hey, Rich. And I know it's a big deal, but it doesn't feel like a big deal. For those of you who wondered what I'm talking about, I had knee replacement surgery on January 17th, and then caught some blood clots in my lungs. So I had to stay a couple of days in the hospital till they kind of got that balanced out. And I'm on one of those long-term, it's not a blood thinner, but it's an anticoagulant, I guess. And eventually the clots will just sort of dissipate. And that wasn't scary. I didn't feel scared at all. I did have an unfortunate incident with some pain meds in the hospital, where I thought, if one pain med is good, two is probably better. And so the second day there, they were going to get me up and walk me around. They walked me around the first day, but they were going to walk me around the second day. And I said, I think I need a pain med before we do that. So I took a 10 milligram Omicron. No, that's not what it's called. Oxycodone. That's what it's called. Omicron's something else. And then after that, I thought, I probably ought to take another one just in case I get some pain from the from the walk around. And apparently I was allowed to have up to 2 a day, or, one every 8 hours or some crazy thing like this. 10 milligrams, which apparently is a lot, at least for me, because I'm a med weenie. And, a couple hours into the second med, I was a zombie. Sandy said that at one point I fell asleep with something half in my mouth. Another point I fell asleep, cutting something in half, I guess my dinner. And so we didn't do that anymore. I toughed it out the rest of the time at the hospital with but all I was taking was, this is amazing to me. Tylenol, full regimen of Tylenol. Hello, Equinox. Welcome. Glad to have you. Talking about my knee replacement while we're here in pre-show. So I was on Tylenol, and then apparently a fairly mild painkiller called Tramadol, which my mother takes in the nursing home. So it can't be addictive or anything like that. And they sent me home with a prescription for oxycodone, but half the dose of what they had prescribed at the hospital. So I was down from 10 milligrams to 5 milligrams, but I wasn't going to touch that stuff. And so here I am just rocking along, having had what I call fairly major surgery. They took out a pretty significant body part and threw it away and put in something else. And here we go. I just have Tylenol and aspirin to keep me going. But that's all it required. It has not been painful. The only time I experienced what I would call really intense pain was when I when I stubbed my toe in the garage. I shouldn't have been in the garage. I agree. But I stubbed my toe and it just sort of sent a shockwave through the knee. But everything's I'm rubbing it as we're talking. It's my good luck charm. It's been great. I don't have full range of motion yet, but it hasn't been a month. I don't expect I'm going to get full range of motion for another month, 6 weeks, maybe longer. But I didn't have full range of motion to begin with because I had a bad knee, so I couldn't extend it all the way and I couldn't bend it all the way. So I probably will be back. I will be better than I was. I already have less pain. It's amazing. Now I am on pain meds, so that's probably a big part of it. But if any of you is out there on the bubble as to whether you should get this or whether you should suffer through until you can't take it any longer, don't suffer. Get it. Now, my surgeon was what I understand to be the #1 knee replacement guy in this area. He hasn't done hundreds of them. He's done thousands of them. He could about do them in his sleep, which, of course, we don't want. But nevertheless, I asked him, I said, how long does it take? He said, 45 minutes, an hour. Is that all? He said, yeah. He said, I'll do 3 of them before lunch. Wow. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I'm having such a good go of it now is because I got a really good surgeon. He didn't use a tourniquet. Apparently a tourniquet is part of what they use to reduce the amount of blood loss. But he had some other strategies that he used that, apparently kind of balanced it out. Thank you, acedreamcatcher.com. It's good to be back. Just chatting a little bit about this adventure I've had with the knee replacement. So, I was at home for a week with, hello, Troy. I am back. Oh, you're in the dentist chair. Oh, sorry about that, bub. I'd rather have a knee replacement. A cap's not bad, though. That's not bad if you can handle the drill. But I had a week of somebody coming to the house every day to check my vitals and to put me through some exercises. And they said, we really want to push you. We want to make it hurt. I was like, oh, gosh, it's not what I want. I don't want it to hurt. They said, we want you to get used to it. Nobody gets used to pain. So that when you go to PT, physical therapy, you're ready because they are really going to put a hurting on you. And so here I am dreading physical therapy. I mean, I'm not looking forward to this at all. I don't tend to worry about things, but I was a little concerned. And I showed up for PT the first time and met with young Andrew, a young whippersnapper. And he said, okay, let's do some stuff. So we started doing it. And he said, I want you to stretch, but I don't want you to stretch to the point of pain. I want you to stretch to the point where you're getting a good gentle stretch. I'm thinking, whoa, this is great. I like this. And I've gone 4 times since then, and it's been a little bit more painful each time. They're kind of working me into it. But I'm also seeing, hello, Tim, welcome. Glad you're checking in. I'm also seeing progress on the flexion of the knee and extension of the knee. So I guess if that's the knee, yeah, right there. The flexion has gone from, I think, 72% in the hospital to 95% yesterday. So that's great progress. And the extension has gone from, I think, like maybe 16% to 8% yesterday. So, and they say that's really the one that's going to take the longest, which I thought was really kind of odd. So I've got pretty good. Well, I say I've got pretty good extension. I've got good extension with, pressure on it. kind of force it to that point. That's how far it will go, but that's not how far it wants to go. So I want it to get to the point where it wants to go to 0%, and where the knee wants to flex to whatever, at least close to whatever the other one's flexing on. So there we go. So no, we're into showtime here. So let's get ready for the show, shall we? I want to check and make sure that nobody has checked in here. Okay, and I'm not missing anything there. Not missing anything there. Not missing anything there. Okay, let's check one more place. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, let's. I gotta adjust my glasses again. Well, we'll do that. We'll do it. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? I think the pink button still works the same way. Ta-da! I've got a button for that, but I can't reach it. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiot. So good to be back and see you. Hot dog. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. I know I didn't post any notice about this show kind of happening because it's a show, but it's not up to my normal standard. I have been out, had major surgery, January 17th, had my knee replaced. Big thank you to all of you that wrote and sent me words of encouragement and talked about how yourself, your wife, your husband, your friend, your mom, your dad had the same thing, and how well it has happened, how well it has been for them. And I'm pleased to report the same thing here. So back in the studio a little bit every day now. Sandy drops me off here and then carefully monitors my time to make sure that I'm not spending too much time up here and over-tiring myself. Currently got the leg up, so that's why the strange orientation here. In fact, we could probably put the camera down a little bit. Can we do that? Do we have access to these kind of tools? Let's just do it and pretend like we do. So if the camera goes down, I go up. Yeah, there we go. That's good. I feel better like that. So yeah, the surgery went well. I'm recovering well. If you missed the pre-show, you can DVR and go back to it, where I talk about that at some length, but I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time to it. But if you're on the bubble about getting this knee replacement surgery, I'd go for it. Get the very best surgeon you can find and go for it. Hello, Marie. Hello, Otis. Glad to have you guys here. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate the good words. While I was, believe it or not, while I've been recovering, I haven't been idle. I have not been idle. And I had the pleasure of being invited by the PTZ Optics crew to make a presentation at the Worship Summit, which is going to be this coming Friday. I think it's like 10:30 to 3:30 Eastern. Worshipsummit.live is the website, I believe. And so I had, I thought, I don't know that I can do it live. Why not pre-record it? Because apparently some of the folks are pre-recording it. So I pre-recorded it. And what the session was, yeah, I guess that's right. What the session was an interview with my good friend and client, Rick Little, from the Church of the Epiphany up in Pennsylvania, because we had helped them make an install, I guess it was probably last March, maybe, in their church. Their church is a historic church. It was a 1800s single room schoolhouse, kind of in a rural kind of area, although I think it's grown up now. But back then it was kind of rural. And they had the challenges of how to put all this technology, because they wanted to do the live stream and lots of other things, how to put this technology into an historic structure without upsetting the apple cart. And so, that's what he and I talked about during the presentation. So that some of the challenges that he was faced with and what he wanted to end up with when he was done. And it was really, really funny because I'm not a big video editor. I'm a one take Tom. I got my one take, and I think it was good enough. And so we did it all in one take, and then got to the end, and I forgot to turn off the recording, which is, it's okay. It's just a recording. And so the recording went on for another 7 minutes, and then I realized it and I turned it off. So a couple days later, I go to edit it, and because I've got a 15-minute time slot, and I've got this 25-minute recording, and I was like, oh crap, we went much, much longer than I thought. I thought we were only going like, maybe 3 minutes long, and I could cut all that out. So I fired up the video editor. I use, don't laugh at me, but you might use the same thing. I use Camtasia for video editing, and it works well, and I understand how it works, and I don't do it very often, so it's a good match. So I pull in the file into Camtasia, and I start editing a little bit here and a little bit there, trying to get out of 45 seconds here and 30 seconds there, and I finally got it down from 25 minutes to 22 minutes. And then what happened? Something happened, and I had to go away from it and come back to it. And when I came back to it, it loaded in the timeline. Instead of the timeline being kind of off the charts, the timeline was right in front of me, and I could see the sound waves. And then there was a period of silence, and then there were more sound waves to the very end. And I thought, I don't remember a period of silence during this. So I scrubbed forward to the period of silence time. Well, of course, that was the point at which I had ended the interview, faded to black, and then started chatting after that. So I was able to cut out 7 minutes right at the very end and have it down to, 15 minutes and 25 seconds or something like that. But it was an experience, and it was funny, and it was fun. But during the course of the interview, Rick shared about one of, and again, you can watch this on Friday at the Worship Summit, worshipsummit.live. I think you have to get a ticket, but the tickets are free. Or maybe you don't have to get a ticket. I know it's being streamed on Facebook and on YouTube, but I'm not sure whether it's the PTZ Optics Company channel or the Stream Geeks channel or something like that. Search around, you'll find it. And then there's going to be a kind of a Zoom free-for-all discussion afterwards, which I hope to be attending in person. Via Zoom, like everybody else. But I'll be there live. But during the course of this whole adventure with Rick and helping them get up to speed on what they wanted to do, he really stunned me with his ingenuity and his ability to solve problems and to get them and to really, really solve them. And so it was a real treat to work with him. And one of the things that he did that I wanted to share today, let's see if we can pull it up here. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull in a few more pictures, and that'll kind of help show the whole. Yeah, let's pull in that one. We'll pull in that one, and pull in this one. Okay, so this is their sanctuary. Let's take off the graphic there. And they've decided, since they were in special times, they didn't want to hand out bulletins, that they'd put their bulletins on the two big screen TVs on either side of the entry to the altar area. And they wanted they wanted at least one camera that would show back from the altar towards the back of the church. And so the challenge was to put a camera there that wouldn't be intrusive. And so what Rick did was he put, if you look on the right side of that photograph, right below the TV to the left, you might be able to see it poking out around the corner, or you might see it around the corner, but there is a camera there, just above the numbers and just to the left of the pipe organ. And this is what the camera looks like when it is in the out position. You can see that PTZ Optics 20X camera in the out position. And this is how it gets from in to out. So there's the camera, and Rick built this little box with a camera stand on it that is controlled by some actuators. And so he's got a little button in the media room that he can push in for in and out for out. And that rascal, he wired it all up himself. He figured out the whole deal. Here we're looking at it from the side as it extends out. And he says it does make a little bit of noise. So he tries to move it when the organ is playing so that it covers up the noise. But I just think that is just super outstanding. And it doesn't make the church appear that it's full of technology. He said, most of the time when he uses that camera, he uses it for either shots when folks are, when church is over, so that the members that are watching remotely can kind of see who's there, but that they also have a time after church where the rector will have what they call I think it's called the coffee clatch, where they just have a chat with everybody that's in the church and everybody that's watching on Zoom, because that's how they've been live streaming it, just to Zoom. So it's kind of a closed circuit kind of thing. But that this camera allows the folks that are watching on Zoom to be able to see who's talking in the church. And they use one of the two monitors here. In fact, they use the monitor on the top right to show the folks that are watching on Zoom. Do I have a picture of that? I think I might. Let's see. Hold on a second here. No, I guess not. Oh yeah, here I do. Here we go. Let's just drag this into your production. And so this is what the folks in the pew see of the folks that are at home attending church remotely. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so, in addition to all the other things that Rick required, and that together he and I worked out, the whole concept of being able to connect the audio from in person in the church to Zoom and have the Zoom participants hear the audio that's going on in the church but not get a loop, and to have the folks in the church hear the Zoom participants, and then of course all the other Zoom participants hear each other and what's going on in the church without getting any kind of feedback or loops. Because sometimes they'll have, this is Episcopal Church, so in this denomination, they'll have lay readers that will read the lesson. Generally, there's an Old Testament lesson, a psalm, and then the gospel is read by one of the priests. And so frequently, one of the lay readers will be scheduled and they'll be on Zoom. So they'll read the lesson on Zoom to the rest of the congregation, both on Zoom and live locally. So that was a real audio challenge to get all that set up so that it would, so that it worked. Oh, plus, I think in the top left-hand corner of this picture here, you can see Rick in a headset. And so Rick is actually speaking to the folks in the Zoom, in the Zoom call or Zoom room, whatever they've got going there. And so, that adds another complication of audio, that he wants to speak to the folks in Zoom, but he doesn't want that audio to go into the sanctuary. But just, really I thought some really neat requirements to make it all happen. And I thought they did. I thought Rick did an outstanding job. This is what his AV setup looks like. A couple monitors showing vMix in the center, and then 2 outputs from vMix on the right side, and then kind of on the upper left, and then you see a giant mixing board up there, and then a PTZ Optics SuperJoy keyboard, an X-Keys XK80, and then I think there's even a what we would call an easy button, that X-Keys single button, which Rick has for only one purpose. It's to advance the slides as they go through the worship, because the slides form are what normally would be seen in the prayer book or in the bulletin. And since they're not doing that, since they're doing it all electronically, he wanted a way that was foolproof, where he could advance the slides without having an issue with it. And so he puts that button right there on the right side of his desk, and he is beginning to train some teenagers on how to work all that. It really has worked out well for him, and he is really pleased. So if you'd like to see the interview in its entirety, well, except for the 2 minutes that I cut out, which you'll never miss, that'll be shown Friday at the Worship Summit, worshipsummit.live. I think my time slot is 12:30 Eastern, but I know that's subject to change. So you'll want to check the schedule and take a look. And I think, some of our good friends, Alan Bunt is going to be there and talk about what's going on with Good Shepherd. One of my friends here in Fairhope is a communications consultant working with a lot of churches, Terry Wilhite. Terry will be on the show. And of course, Paul and Tess and the PTZ Optics group. So it'll be well worth your time, either live or in replay. The advantage, of course, of live is that if you're there after it's over, you can jump into the Zoom chat and ask questions and chat up the folks that are there. So, big kudos to Rick for this awesome actuated camera stand that he's made. Really cool, really cool. And I don't know if that may have some audio with it. I haven't listened to it, so it may be either he or I cussing in the background. And there's another look at it one more time. Yeah, Otis is asking, how many people are in Rick's AV ministry? Well, it's right now, it's Rick. And if you'd like to move to that part of Pennsylvania, I'm sure he'd love to have you as part of his ministry team. But it's one of these where he wants to get everything right. He wants to get everything right, and then once everything is right, he's got it the way he wants to, and he's got his X-Keys all laid out, and he's got his SuperJoy all laid out, and his extra X-Key easy button laid out. Then he's going to bring people in and teach them that part of it. But at this point, he's trying to get his shortcuts and his triggers. And I haven't even introduced him to scripting yet. I can't imagine what he's going to do with that. Yeah, Tim, it's we'll have to get Rick on the show live at some point. It's called an actuator, and it is nothing but just an electronically controlled RAM, kind of like a shock absorber, only it will go in and out. And I think he's got 2 of them on there. because one of them was not smooth enough. I think it was a little jerky, trying to overcome the weight of the camera and the resistance in the hinge. So it's two actuators, but I'll see if if he's got some drawings or something like that he can share those with us. He's been very forthcoming, really delightful guy, big guy, fills up the room, my kind of person. Otis says, I need a PTZ for vibrations. Our band has a lot of low end. You mean you want more vibration? There are some, if you look on BH Photo, there are quite a few different types of anti-vibration stands for PTZ cameras and, excuse me, for fixed cameras. A little bit of water. Sorry, no lemonade today. And I haven't tried out any of those, but they seem to be getting good reviews. So I would commend you to that. Otis says, no, I don't think I'm going to Pennsylvania. It's 78 degrees in Texas. Well, it's 68 degrees here in Alabama, and I feel okay about that. Yeah. Ken says, Camtasia's a breeze. Says, why waste time learning tools the average business guy will never use? Ken, you're reading my mind. That's exactly what I say. I'm path of least resistance guy, and if I can get it 90% good for something I'm doing for myself, I'll do that. If it's for you, it's got to be 100, of course. So yeah, Tim, I'll try to get Rick on the show. I mean, he's got a full-time job in addition to everything he does with the church. But we'll see if we can't get him some afternoon. It's an hour later there, so maybe he can get his boss to let him off work a little early, and he can hustle over to the church, and we can do a broadcast from the church and put a camera on the camera, that kind of thing. Yeah, that'll be good. What's coming up? Well, coming up in April is NAB. And I'm working hard in my rehab because I am going to be at NAB, and I'm going to be walking, I think, by then, normally without a cane. We'll see. We'll have to see. But I plan on being there the whole time, plan on having the Streaming Idiots meetup for those that would like to join us on Monday night, the Monday of NAB. Haven't confirmed anything about that yet, so it's just a loosey-goosey time. But NAB is starting on Sunday this time. It was the last time, the first time they canceled it, it was supposed to start on Sunday as a new thing. So it's never, ever really had this schedule. But they wanted to start it on Sunday in hopes of, kind of pulling in some weekend traffic. Some people that were there for the weekend that can come over to the show. And it would also make the National Association of Broadcasters membership meeting, which I think is the day before the show opens, it would make that on Saturday instead of on Sunday, which might increase attendance there. So they were just going to try this new thing. And so that means that NAB is going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Wednesday will be the last day of NAB. So we like to do second night. So the second night is going to be the Streaming Idiots meetup. And we'll have details about that and door prizes and goodies and food and snacks and lemonade and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, Dr. Pepper. All right. Xavier says, Otis, you can use something non-PTC. Many have stabilization. That's true, stabilization in the camera. And there's some PTZ heads that will work with cameras that have Lank and so forth. So there you go. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Rick. It's good to be alive. It is good to be alive. And I was going to say alive and kicking, but I'm not doing a whole lot of kicking these days. I'm walking, but I'm not kicking. Um, one little quick story about my knee surgery recovery, and we'll go to the post show. But I was in the hospital 3 days, which was long, because I picked up some lung clots along the way, and they some blood clots in the lungs, and they wanted to make sure they got the meds balanced out while I was there in the hospital before they released me, which was fine because it wasn't painful. It didn't slow me down or make me feel uncomfortable at all. Um, the hospital food's a different story, but anyway. So I get home, and I had what they call home health care. So somebody came to the house every day for, I think, 5 days, 6 days, maybe it was a week. Um, and they took my vitals, blood pressure, temperature, blood oxygen level, that kind of stuff. I think that's really why they were coming, to check the blood oxygen to make sure I wasn't having any lung problems. But they did some physical therapy while I was there, and they pretty near killed me. But let's see, I had surgery on a Monday, and I got out of the hospital on Thursday. So this must have been like the following Sunday. So it would be like, 6 days after the surgery. I asked the PT guy, I said, because I was walking on a walker. I was just, not sure about this knee. What's the deal? Holy cow. And I asked him, I said, I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty peppy. Can I try a cane? And they said, why? And I said, because I want to tell people I was on a cane less than a week after the surgery. And they said, okay, you want to be on a cane? We're going to put you on a cane. So they put me on a cane for the rest of the PT session. And I don't think I picked up a cane again for at least a week after that. I was like, oh, I didn't feel quite sturdy enough at that point. So, but since then, in fact, at one point, 2 weeks ago, or I guess 10 days ago, I had kind of abandoned the cane at home, and the PTZ guy that I go to now, twice a week, I go to them instead of them coming to me. Said, we really want you to walk with that cane because we want you to walk in your normal gait as much as you can. And if you don't have a cane, you won't walk in your normal gait because you're not supporting yourself and your knee's not loose enough for you to walk in your normal gait without assistance. So, he said there are a lot of people that come in here and say, see, I can move fast, and they drag their leg across the room quickly. But he said, we're not concerned with speed. We want you to have that normal gait. We want everything to be as normal as possible so your body gets into that normal rhythm. So I've taken the cane back up, have it right over there, but it's out of reach. So if you see me at NAB with a cane, it probably is just a sign that I'm trying to keep that gait as normal as possible. So Xavier says, I have knee surgery in March if they can fix it. No 6 weeks, no weight bearing. Ooh, wow. Well, I hope it goes well. I've talked to people that have had knee surgery, not knee replacement, but knee surgery, and that it's a more difficult recovery. So I hope it goes well for you. Sam is here, just joined. Glad to see you back and almost kicking. Yes, I owe you an invoice, Sam. I promise I'll get that to you too. Ken says it's a nice sunny Thursday morning in Australia. All right. Well, that is one of my places that I hope to go as soon as everything gets back to normal. And it looks like we're getting close. We're getting close. Let's close out the show. We'll go into the post show and have some more chatter. Be right back. Okay, there we go. And thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. And and Rick and Xavier and Ace and Troy while he was here. He couldn't stay very long. It's been very good. Very good to be back. It's really funny. Oh, and John's here too. All right, John. Sorry, didn't mean to admit you. But it was funny because a lot of the studio here was in a box at the house this morning because I had robbed the studio to help a friend with a local gig here on the Saturday before my Monday surgery. So, we did a late night Saturday gig. I mean, it was late for me. By the time we got out of there, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock. I didn't feel like coming back to the studio and dropping off all this stuff. And Sunday, I was, getting ready to be out of pocket and didn't think about this stuff. And so this stuff's been sitting in boxes in my garage for, since the surgery. So three weeks. 3 weeks and 2 days. And I realized, if I'm going to do a show today, I got to get cameras. I got to get lights. I've got to get the network set back up because I stole the network switch out of here so that I could operate the bird dog cameras remotely, which was wonderful. Can I pull up that gig easily? I'd love to show you some of it. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. And we'll go to Magnolia Trail Maids Scholarship Program. Will that pull it up? No, the scholarship program part was just too overwhelming. Let's try again. There's the Dogwood Trail Mates. Well, maybe it is Dogwood. Let's see. Ah, yes. Okay. So let's copy this into Facebook, into vMix. It's a web browser, YouTube, and it's going to populate, and we're going to pause it for just a second and full screen it. Keyboard enable it. Yeah, just to give you a feel for this, I'm gonna cut the audio from it. Where is it? Right here, browser. Yeah. So if we go live to this and we'll press play, this is what we were doing. It's good old-fashioned Southern scholarship program. And this is the shot from the bird dog, P100. Yeah, you can see there it is on tripod at the very end of the stage. And so we were controlling that over Ethernet with the bird dog controller. I want to do a little show about the bird dog controller at some point because it really made this job so much easier. We had a 3-camera shoot. One of the cameras was the one you saw down at the end of the runway. And then we had kind of a fixed camera in the back. Yeah, this is the bird dog again. And we'll wait for the next gal to come across. But one of the problems you can see that I had right there was that the dress was all blown out. And let me see, I think as we got further into it, I was able to figure out the color on the keyboard. Not sure why they cut to that rear facing shot, but that's okay. Let's take it back just a little bit here. Yeah, let's go to there. So the colors are pretty good. That's I think that's the bird dog. And then this is a Canon maybe that they had on hand as part of their sports setup. And they were using it. I thought we were going to get to see the red dress. But this is me controlling that manual camera. And as you can tell, once it gets so close, there's not much more I can do with it. But that was the P100, and really was fun. Really was fun playing with it. Marie was about to ask if the entire studio is a trip hazard. Yes, the entire studio is a trip hazard, because not only is there the boxes that I just brought in, but within tripping distance, let's see, that's 9, another 9 is 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 35 boxes within tripping distance of me right now. So yeah, so far I haven't tripped here. I did trip in the garage, but here in the studio, it's been good. Yeah, right before I did the knee surgery, I got a big PO from a company that wants us to build, at least over the course of the next year, 80 systems for us. Some other POs from some other companies that want us to build some specialized systems for them, which we've begun working on. And when I say we, I actually do mean we. I have a young friend, he's a school teacher here, who has worked with me in the past when I've kind of been overloaded, that has come in on the weekends to help me keep up with the flow over the last 3 weeks. So I really appreciate Rob helping me with that. Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to? You say, oh, well, Tom, I haven't been up to anything interesting. I've been sitting in a recliner for 3 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days. And I bet you've got something more interesting than that. I have watched everything on YouTube that YouTube has to offer that I'm interested in. I've watched everything on the, what's it called, YouTube TV, and have taped lots of things, recorded lots of things so I could watch them. Ooh, excuse me. It must be time for my nap. And I've about run out of ways to amuse myself. So it's good that it's good that Sandy is letting me come back up to the studio, at least for a couple hours a day. Yep. But I can tell I've about overstayed my welcome. Jonathan said oh, John, it's either the end of the internet or you can see the end of the internet from here. Yeah. But I had to go back to the other parts of the internet. So we'll see. Ed, you are so kind. You are so kind. I am live. I am live. Not overly drugged. Not overly inspirational. but happy to be here, if just for a few more minutes before I head out. If you have emailed me or called me, I promise I'm working towards replying to that as soon as I can. But I've got a good backlog here. Did I find that VidBlaster guy at the end of the internet? No, you know what? I think he's way back there, back in 2012. And actually, it's going to be fun this summer in July 2022. We will celebrate 10 years of continuous broadcasting about live streaming. We are the oldest continually broadcasting live streaming show about live streaming in the universe. In the universe. Nobody else has done it consistently longer. That doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's good. Xavier says, can we review the Sony FX1? Well, if I can get one, I'll take a look at it. I am not a camera guy per se. So as I delve into the guts of a camera to try to set it up manually, I struggle. You can tell right now I'm blown out because I didn't have a chance to get this camera set up, or didn't take as much time as I oh, I see. The Sony FX1 was an old camera. Well, see, that's how much I know about cameras. Did I watch videos back in 2003? I'm sure I did. I mean, YouTube was on there. Yeah. Marie says, I can't be sure about the universe. Well, I can't, but I'll make that claim until somebody debunks me. How about that? How about that? Y'all have been lovely to show up today. I really appreciate you popping in. Even if you've been live streaming for 52 years, actually, if you've been live streaming for 52 years, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you, Marie, for bringing that up and keeping that active. But I am going to say adieu and take the rest of the day off. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you next week with an outstanding. I'll see you next week. Take care. What can we let you out with? We'll let you out with a little bit more. How about a little bit more beauty pageant? There you go.
But if you're happy for others who win, then you build relationships through competing. She plans to attend the University of Austin, Hillsdale College, or Liberty University to major in psychology with a minor in English. She would like to be either an editor or an FBI behavioral analyst. Number 14, Sylvia Hurley. Number 15 is Mackenzie Castillo. Mackenzie is a 10th grader from Fairhope High School. She participates in cross country and is a 10th grade representative of Future Medical Leaders of America. Her favorite activity is her youth group at church because it's a great way to feel included and learn more about God with those who share your faith. Mackenzie is quite competitive, but she always feels proud of her friends when they win. Her dad taught her that you either win or you learn. You can always take a loss as a learning experience, but you learn either way. She plans to attend Auburn University to study biomedical science and eventually become a dentist or orthodontist. Number 15, Mackenzie Castillo.